Don't say that. Come on. Uh,
David, I really wonder what is wrong with you sometimes.
no, that was a pre-show. That was before you got here. I'm going to share out the show. Hey, everybody, it's the pre-show where we talk about what we're going to do on the show. How's everybody going? How about the weirdest news that we're not going to talk about? They confirmed that Captain America 4 is going to be a thing. Didn't they do that?
I
Like,
thought they
I
already
thought
did
they
that.
already
Well,
did that.
there
I
were
guess
places like
I think the news
reporting it
this
like
week
it was
was
new.
like they signed the contract. I think they
Yeah.
said like back at the end of the Falcon and Winter Soldier show that it was gonna
How's
happen,
that?
but I guess they never like inked the deal until now.
Yeah.
Well,
Good for
they
them.
they officially signed Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie officially signed the contract to be on it, which is what was the news that came
that
out
you?
this week. What?
All right, I'm good. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
Me neither. So yeah, I thought that was some weird news. I thought it was weird. I'm trying to share this shit out, man. My Facebook, I was just bragging. Oh, I fixed it.
And now
still,
it's messed
still terrible.
up.
It's still just.
Well, now you look
bad
a fool,
again.
Gomer.
I do. I feel like a fool. This is ridiculous. So how's everybody doing?
I'm
Fine.
getting by.
We're
Fine.
gonna talk about what we're gonna do on the show in a minute. Oh, there I go. All right, I figured it out. My goodness, I must just be stupid or something. You think that's what it is? You guys really
Well,
It
no
definitely
comment
is.
from me. Yeah.
I don't
That
think that's
definitely
what
is
it is.
what it
No, no, Gomer, no.
I don't think that's what it is.
I like how we had an array of different like responses to that. Like Adam confirming the truth that you are stupid, me trying to be diplomatic and say, "Well, I won't comment," and David lying to you and saying that it wasn't.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Spare his feelings.
So
Good on you.
we'll do a segment 1. Everybody get ready. Have something fun to talk about.
Whoa.
We got a lot of news. Hickman is big Hickman news. Sad in a
Fuck
way.
Hickman.
We'll talk about it. Some Bendis news. Some DC web
Who cares about
comics
Bendis?
news.
Nobody cares about
Everybody
Bendis.
cares about Bendis.
Bendis could go to Substack, and I would not care less.
He
But
did go to Substack. It's free. It's a freebie. It's free.
whatever.
Cates and Stegman actually did go to Substack. We'll talk about that. And then What If, full on, in depth, What If conversation. Man, this show just fun.
It is
all
a
I
lot of
got
actually
fun.
to
didn't
say.
watch this week's What If.
You didn't watch
fit
it?
in. No.
Oh,
no.
it was
pretty
bad.
good.
Yeah.
You guys spoiled
We'll
it.
spoil
away.
it.
It's fine.
We'll talk some food news. No moment of destruction. No,
Boo.
nothing happening. And then, yeah, top 3. I have a pretty good feeling that everybody's going to have the same number 1 this week. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I just feel that that's going to be what happens. Maybe not Dave. I
Maybe
don't know
not.
why I
Dave.
always talk shit on Dave. I
What
had
do
to
you-
change his books.
Just 'cause
Anything
you care
else?
Someone else doesn't mean it's talking shit on him.
I may have read it.
Anything else you guys want to talk about this week?
I'll mention it when I talk about the "What I've Been Doing" segment. That you
Oh, great.
like us to
Segment
do.
1.
Yeah.
Awesome. Taylor doing homework. Taylor getting ready.
The rest of you guys will not care about it, but
Oh,
I
you
will
don't
go
know
ahead
about
and
that.
mention it. But
We're very eclectic.
Sure, I'll care about it.
Anything else?
I can always count on you,
Do
Dave.
anything?
I'll
Anybody else
pretend to
do
care about it.
I'll accept that.
anything? No one else doing anything? You got it? We're good?
You want to touch on the OnlyFans thing real quick?
Oh, do we?
Do we want to touch
wanna
on it?
touch on that?
If we have to.
Oh, wow. Okay. We'll do that.
Now, I didn't say we had to.
I'm
would
happy.
begrudging-
I was just asking.
I mean, I'm just going to get all communist and Marxist with it. You know, it's just going to be worker exploitation. And there, our views just went down to 0 as I say that. No, man. I don't think we should talk about that because that's just,
Okay.
it's a good idea, though. But it's classic worker
The only thing I
exploitation.
will say about it is I did not know OnlyFans did anything besides sexually explicit content. I
Well, that's-
honestly
Well,
didn't.
it wasn't originally designed to be only sexually explicit.
That
content. It just
is definitely what it's famous for, though.
It
Yeah,
wasn't.
it's famous
Exactly.
for that, but it was set up to be like a Patreon.
Exactly. And
That's
it did
not what it
involve-
is.
That's
And
not
they-
what it is, but
they
that's what
got
it was set
their-
up for.
But they got their notoriety and popularity off of catering to sex workers. We should normalize sex work And now that they can't attract any investors to actually give them the money that these Silicon Valley startups want eventually once they get popular, they're changing their tune and saying, no, we're not going to allow sex
What the
acts.
hell do these porn companies do
No,
to
no,
get
they've moved.
investments?
No, they've already moved. A lot of OnlyFans like users have moved, and those platforms crashed over the weekend.
Oh,
Several
yeah.
of them.
Yeah, Fansly.
Yeah.
That one was
So-
burning up my Twitter for a while.
Yeah. So
But I'm just saying, I'm just asking the question: what do these like established porn companies do?
What do you mean?
I don't know what you mean, David.
Okay, the companies that make porn, you know, Kink.com and a couple other places like this.
We
that
don't
been-
have to go into a diatribe about it. Just get to your
Yeah.
point.
What about
what
these
they've
porn
been
companies?
around for all these years. What are they fucking doing to make money? I mean,
They're making porn. I don't
they're making
understand.
porn, but are they
Okay,
getting
what you're
investors?
missing out. All right.
Were they
Hold
getting
on.
investors for
All
this
right.
stuff?
But hold on, dude. Hold on, because I think you're missing the point. All right, because there's a difference between me watching Predator and me watching a fan-made movie of the Predator, where I have, you know, involved myself with individuals who are creatives. All right, there is a certain intimacy when you're on OnlyFans and you can interact the way they do, and I mean, it only sounds creepy because of the stigma surrounding this sort of shit, right? Because it's no different than somebody doing Twitch. It's no different than anybody playing fucking video games or going to YouTube and doing a fucking live stream like we're doing right now. There's absolutely no difference to it, except
Well,
it happens to involve sex.
And the people who do that are all way better looking than we are.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not saying that. I'm not saying I could make some money on OnlyFans. I really think I could.
I think you.
No,
I think
I
you,
really don't.
I
Let's
think
start
you
the
could.
show. Let's
I
start the
think
show.
you
This
could.
Is the
You
best
dress
pre-show
up
ever.
dress up as Slave Leia. Yeah.
On that
Hey,
note, we're
this guy.
Oh,
definitely-
Hey, this
God.
guy is cosplaying Doc Ock from
Mute
Into the
it,
Spider-Verse.
please.
Hey, Eli! Happy belated birthday!
That's me on OnlyFans. No. Eli brings that up. Actually, I would most likely have to cater to a same-sex community in order to make money on OnlyFans, and I'm not sure why that is. It's classic misogyny, really. Greetings, geeks. How's everybody doing? Is this Geek and Comics, our Geekers comic book shit talk show?
Shit talk show!
I am your co-host Gomer, and with me, as always, Adam Normal Taylor, aka David. How's it going, gentlemen? What's going on?
Good.
Oh, it's going all right, man.
It's going good.
Yeah,
We had a,
Things
man, a great
are
pre-show.
happening this
Oh
week.
yeah, fantastic.
This bodes well for the rest of the show.
It really doesn't, but okay, let's move on.
We learned a lot about David.
I usually do something.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't do shit this week. It was a busy week. My old lady, though, did get me a bottle of the Glenlivet 12 Scotch.
There you go.
Wonderful.
Scotch.
It's double aged. It's beautiful. It's wonderful.
That does sound rather swanky, although I'm not a
It's-
connoisseur myself.
It's my
So.
favorite. I mean, it's hard to brag about whiskey because
How much of the bottle is left?
it's at least half. It was only $60, and actually, that's pretty good considering some
See,
shots just go way up.
I'm not fancy with my whiskey. I don't go Scotch. I just went straight up Irish whiskey.
Oh,
when
that's
I did
like
my partying
Jameson's.
earlier.
Jameson.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, I love Jameson. I love Jameson. Taylor had a segment one. He had something you want to talk about.
Well, last Monday they did release a new character for the Marvel Avengers game,
And it was Black
oh,
Panther.
yeah, Black
Yeah.
Panther is out, and the game itself has probably been a bit underwhelming. It's basically Diablo with Avengers, but they've always done a pretty good job with the characters themselves. The problem's always been not giving you enough to do with them. That being said, Black Panther does play very well. They do a pretty good job splicing together like poses from the movies and like dynamic action shots. It feels they all control really well. You feel like you
Yeah.
are the characters when you play with them. And this expansion does have more of a story, and it does
cool.
provide like more like social hubs and crap like that for you to hang out in. So it's definitely the best expansion so far. But I do feel like if you aren't if you haven't already played it by now, this probably isn't going to win you over for the first time, or even bring you back if you have jumped off.
So this is not the make or break DLC that everybody was hoping it would be.
I've enjoyed the game since the beginning, but it's kind of like I have like a few minutes to kill and nothing better to do type of game, and not like oh man, I can't wait to play type of game.
And there's a place for that. There's a lot of games.
Oh, sure,
like
sure.
that.
I mean, it's like it's in that Skyrim house, you know.
Leroy plays the hell out of it. Well, he did for a while. He
does.
He actually mentioned it on the last episode of the Bullies.
Yeah, so I watched him. I watch him play it, and that's usually what I do with games now. Outside of Forza Horizon, which I'm really stoked for the next one that's coming. The map looks amazing. The weather is going to be dope. But I don't play video games anymore, man. Not like I used to, anyway.
Well,
but I love watching people play.
Well, dovetailing on that, Fortnite released the Wonder Woman skin, so now you have the Trinity.
That's pretty dope.
You have Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman in the game now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. And Adam didn't do anything. He didn't even watch What If.
No,
damn it, Adam.
He just woke up from a coma this morning.
I know, he just woke up.
Pretty much.
Awesome. We all had a good week. Let's do some news, some sad.
Sad news. Oh, I'm miserable.
Yeah, for real, dude. I mean, there's just
Pokemon Go.
No, not Pokemon Go. That's too much damn work. Having to walk around and look around for shit. Fuck that. But yeah, mobile games are where it's at, dude. I mean, everywhere. Take them wherever you want to go. Do whatever you want. There's millions of them. And usually they're free. For $5. Anyway, terrible news from Marvel Comics. I don't know. It's a little weird. Inferno is it. When Inferno stops, so does Hickman in Marvel Comics. Thanks, Substack. Adam. All right, so Hickman says, plans have changed entirely. When I pitched the X-Men story I wanted to do, I pitched a very big, very broad 3-act, 3-event narrative. The first of which was House of X. And while this loosely worked as a 3-year plan, I told Marvel up front that I honestly had no idea how long the first part would last, because there were a lot of interesting ideas that I had seeded that other creators would want to play with. And so we left this rather open-ended. So are you a showrunner or not, bro? Because it doesn't sound like you're running shit. It sounds like everybody else running it. Okay? So yeah, that's it. That's what happened. He had a plan for 3 years. And fucking Al Ewing and all these assholes, Teeny Howard, were like, no, we're having too much fun.
Well, yeah, that's what happened. Is like he had a plan for 3 years, and his plan was too wildly successful for Marvel to.
Too many X books.
For Marvel to end it, because Hickman always ends his shit. So it was too wildly successful for Marvel to want to end it. So they're keeping it open, but it's also, just Hickman leaving and fucking off to go to do his Substack shit.
I mean, that's definitely another point. I just love this Mark Brooks Inferno cover. Inferno comes out September 29th. It's by Hickman and Valerio Schiti. It's the culmination of Hickman's X-Men begins here. Well, duh. That's what the solicit said. We know it. We know now.
Well,
so, but
I'm just instantly less excited about any X book coming out from now on.
I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the books have been objectively good, regardless of like the overall plan. Not Jason Todd. Hope not. But
yeah.
But like, the books are good just on their own. Like this current X-Men book that Gary Dugan's doing, it's good, just regardless of how it fits into like a big master plan. But Adam's right though that like part of the appeal was always how they interweave together, and I do have way less faith in that working out now that Hickman is not there to, set up guardrails anymore.
Well, the status quo is set.
Every book is not an instant get for me anymore. Like for instance, this week, X Corp. Honestly, I'm probably going to drop this book from now on.
I actually skipped it entirely.
I'm not going to drop it, but it was not good. Marauders was terrible. Just okay this week.
Awful. Most of the X stuff was just okay this week.
Oh, I don't know about that. There was one that, oh man, I felt like a little kid again. I felt like a little kid reading that. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But he might be back. All right. To finish off different parts of his plan. All right, and this
finish off the X-Men.
not finish off, just finish off his 3-year plan. All these parts, come back and say, all right, now I'll do this part, and everything can evolve a little bit further. Which leads me to believe that he still has guidelines. Like Taylor said, they don't have these guardrails to put up. Maybe he will leave this team with a map, and say, don't veer too far this way, don't veer too far this way, don't do this because I'm going to use, do that. You know what I mean? Just a
So is this like
thing.
a Game of Thrones TV show situation where like you got like the cliff notes for how this is all supposed to end, and
then there's a
writers-
Starbucks
I saw
cup,
how well that worked out.
and then there's
Yeah.
a Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
in
Well,
the next
that
event.
wasn't the problem. That wasn't even the problem. The Starbucks cup.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. Nothing came. Yeah. Finish it off as OnlyFans on Substack. Yeah.
But I guess the larger conversation about Substack, like my initial reaction to this, I feel like was a selfish one, because the thing I thought most about was, man, these X books that I'm enjoying, I am a lot more worried about those than I was before. But is this a price that we consumers have to be willing to pay if it means supporting the artists,
And
And how much of a responsibility do we have to do that? I mean, I don't really have an answer to that question.
Yeah. My thing on Hickman leaving X-Men was, maybe we had it wrong to begin with. Maybe we got lost in all this promotion and we're like, oh no, Hickman is going to be there for this whole thing. And then as things changed, as things evolved, as these
But
writers...
I don't know if you were wrong to believe that, though, because he
No, I
has been
agree.
in
The
everything
promotion-
that he's ever done,
the
he
promotion
has
definitely
been
leaned
there
that
the
way.
entire time.
But this was different because, like we've said, he's been a showrunner, and there have been all these other writers under him that he's been guiding through everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he just...
Yeah, this is
That's why
different
I
from
say,
Avengers.
that's
It's
why I
different
say you
from
weren't a
Fantastic
fucking
Four.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he definitely has a lot looser control
He's
over these
already
things than
evil.
he did before.
And he
you know?
died this week. He died in Way of X. I was like,
He
what?
did.
Hell yeah, he did die. This motherfucker died like 3 times since the X books have reset.
Yeah,
but
he died in
dude.
X-Force #1.
Yeah.
He died.
Nah, he's
all
dead.
over the
He died in
place,
Way of
yeah.
X too. Well, I'm just saying. I think maybe we didn't realize that they were getting carried away in all of the other books, all of these other writers doing their thing. And maybe we were better off for that, but really, I feel like we're missing out on what actually brought everybody back to the X-Men, and that was John Cage. We're missing out.
Yeah.
Inferno's it. It's huge. It's like double sized, or at least bigger than normal 6-issue event. So I don't know.
It's a 4-issue event.
Yeah. Oh, is it only 4 issues?
Yeah, it's a 4-issue
Oh
event.
Jesus.
Oh, good.
It'll
thing
get,
they're
it'll get
double-sized.
stretched out to a 6-issue event.
No, it won't. No, they won't.
They
They're
can't.
done.
I mean, Hickman's like
He's
got it in the
done.
can and he's out, right? I mean, they
He's-
can't make him write more at this point. I
Yeah,
feel like.
he's done. 3 years. They had him for 3 years. That sucks. Anyway, moving on. Jinx World. Brian Michael Bendis' Jinx World has a new home at Dark Horse.
Woo,
Torso
good for
Jinx
them.
cover, United States of Murder Inc., Pearl, Scarlet, Fire, Powers, obviously, all moving to Dark Horse with new additions, even
Well, this-
the ones that were initially reprinted in new editions at DC.
Well, this is a good pickup for Dark Horse. I mean, they've been losing a lot of licenses here lately.
It is. I agree. They've got really good international distribution. So, yeah, I think this is a really good deal.
It's a win-win for everyone.
Along with that, he announced Joy Operations. Jinx World and Dark Horse are proud to announce the debut of a fiercely ambitious science fiction odyssey, Joy Operations. Bendis, man, they have all these different. Brian Michael Bendis, the New York Times best-selling, Peabody and Eisner Award-winning co-creator of Miles Morales, Naomi, Jessica Jones, and it goes on and
Okay,
fucking on.
Daenerys.
No shit. With Stephen Byrne, who did Wonder Twins and Legion with him. For
The
very
Wonder
first-
Twins book was pretty good.
It was all right. 55 years from now, Joy is an envoy, a special agent of one of Joe Nando Trust. Trusts are corporate-owned cities that are the centerpiece. It's sci-fi bullshit. Okay, it's Akira meets All of Me.
Okay.
Ah.
Here's a variant cover by David Mack, which
Ooh, David
That's
Mack.
beautiful.
Very nice cover,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Speaking of David Mack, they announced like a bunch of the Kabuki omnibuses were
saw
coming
that.
to
I-
Dark Horse
sorry.
too.
Yeah, I saw that actually. So, yeah, Dark Horse making some moves in
Yeah.
creator-owned stuff. It's good on them.
Yeah, it's good on them. You know, like I said before, they've lost a lot of properties, to Marvel. So yeah, it's good for them to be making up some lost ground.
Yeah, we're talking about Star Wars and Alien. You ain't got to.
Aliens and Predators. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. It was also announced that he's got a multi-book deal with Andre Lima Araujo with a major bookmark publisher. From your little skipping the traditional comic book publisher. I mean, I don't know. Everyone talks shit on Bendis. I get it. He's really faltered, but I actually like his more creator-owned stuff. I loved Scarlet. Wasn't that the one he did most recently at DC?
I think
Scarlet?
so.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think it was Scarlet.
What was it? United States? No, that wasn't him.
Yeah, U.S. of Murder Inc.
That was murder. Yeah, United
That
States.
was cool
Murder, Inc.
too.
Yeah,
That was cool too. We might get more powers if Oming starts working again. He is. He's
well,
doing
Oming is working, but
Yeah.
he's not working on powers.
Yeah. All right, another one. DC Comics are coming to webcomics through a deal with Webtoon. There's not a lot of details here, but under the agreement, DC and Webtoon, owned by South Korean internet company Naver, will collaborate on standalone webcomics that will appeal to all fans without the need to know or read any previous stories.
Interesting.
Yeah, Frank said, I met Bendis. He's a tiny man. He is. He looks like a tiny little Shrek. He does.
Donkey.
Donkey. All right. DC Comics Senior Vice President and General Manager Daniel Cherry said, DC is excited to introduce our iconic characters to a new generation of fans worldwide. DC will be working closely with Webtoon writers and artists to adapt our characters. This sounds kind of like a nothing to me. It's kind of like NFTs, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what this sounds like. Yeah, these are going to be little standalone comics that nobody's going to care about.
It's good to get, I guess, their name out there.
I guess
DC.
it's
These
good.
are the
It's good.
big-
Trying to do something digital, but
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
feel
if
like
this is the right thing to do.
I feel like
Weird.
this
Right
is
way
a
to go.
resounding like it can't hurt. I guess type
Yeah.
of move.
It's weird to me. It's just weird. That's why I picked it up. Finally, before What If, Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman, probably two of the bigger names right now,
Mhm.
current, are moving to Substack. They started KLC Press. They're going to publish a book called Vanish. That looks like straight out of the fucking 90s.
It looks like
Looks
something
awesome.
you would see from Valiant.
Oh, yeah,
This-
that too. That's.
I mean,
it's the
it's-
same thing.
It does look like a grab bag of like your '90s pro tags. There, it's like Spawn or like The Darkness or like some shit
Oh
like
Very
that.
man,
Spawn,
Youngblood.
Yeah, it looks like a team.
It looks like
sort of
Youngblood.
a book, right? He's also going to do Flood with Megan Hutchison Cates, D. Cunliffe, and J. Jonah Hill. This is a 6-issue underwater horror western.
Or
He's working on
I'm
Westworld
off.
80.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, dude,
So-
this one page of art though looks pretty rad, man.
So-
It does look pretty good.
That
Yeah.
looks
potentially
really nice.
potentially Cthulhu meets BioShock 1.
Dude, that'd be dope. That'd be okay. You're saying that like it's a bad thing.
I'm not saying it like a bad thing. I'm
Okay.
just openly speculating,
Yeah.
given the
But-
2 pieces of artwork he showed.
Right. But again, it's Substack. You got to pay $7 a month to get access. He has also promised that eventually it will be available in print.
I feel like anyone going the Substack route, you've got to be really judicious about which writers you are going to be subscribing to.
Or just
You know?
be like a nut. Just crazy. I don't know.
If you got the money,
Again, these feel like
I
fan
mean,
clubs.
if you're a millionaire, yeah, do whatever. But like,
Yeah.
if you're like your average everyday working schlub, I mean, I feel like there's a
There's
only
only
so
one
many
I
of these.
want.
Yeah.
And I haven't
Yeah.
signed up yet. I'm not paying until I get some comics. All right. And maybe that's what I'll do. It'll be more like a Kickstarter. I get comics this week. Well, let me sign up and see what this is all about. And then I'll read your 10, 20 pages that I'll get that month. And then if I don't like it, I'll just quit. Right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious though, because isn't that how the world is now? All right, everybody talks about like this old trope about, oh, I'm paying as much for streaming services as I did for cable, and I'm like, well, that's a dumb way to pay for streaming services. If you want to watch something that's exclusive to a streaming service, get the streaming service for that month. You've paid $10 for whatever, or like Paramount, Peacock. A lot of times they'll wait. Apple, they'll just release shit weekly. So then you got to wait for everything to be there. We've got to be more creative as consumers.
Yeah.
We've got to be. I mean, and it all gives us more choice. Which I think is, as much as I shit on it, that's like one of the basics of capitalism is giving the consumer choice. But we have to ask ourselves, are those really choices we wanted? Wouldn't we rather just go to our comic shops on fucking Wednesday like we've been doing for our entire lives and go and pick up this new book by
I
whoever?
probably would. I mean, even if I end up caving and getting like Hickman's Substack or anything, I don't imagine I'm going to stop reading Marvel and DC books anytime soon. Unless, of course, DC closes, which, hey, who knows at this point.
Well, even if
That
they
is
close,
a possibility now.
no, even if they close, they will not close. There's no way Warner Brothers is going to give up those licenses for the.
Well, maybe they'll
Well, they
stop
can shut
printing
the
comics, though.
Well, no, I think they would not skip having that. They would just, at least they wouldn't leave money on the table. And a company like Dark Horse or even one of these other publishers would swoop in and say, "Let us publish Batman. Let us publish,
Yeah, it'll be
comics."
like IDW doing Star
Turtles.
Wars comics right now.
and Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Hasbro's all over the place. You know what I mean? They've got
True
books.
enough.
They got books at Boom. They got books at IDW. I'm just.
What's the Hasbro books?
But yeah, I mean, I guess circling back though, like I
Power
don't
Rangers.
think this is going to stop me from going into the comic shop anytime soon.
Yeah.
Although
Power
Doesn't
Rangers is a Hasbro property?
Yeah, doesn't Hasbro own Power Rangers now?
they might make the toys.
they
Doesn't
sold
Mattel
it.
make the toys?
I thought
No,
Power
back
Rangers
to
was owned by
Bandai.
Saban.
No,
Bandai.
Standby,
I thought they got bought by Hasbro. And
It
remember,
goes back and forth, man.
but remember, in that same deal, they ended up owning like half of the Death Row catalog for a while.
Yeah, but I think Hasbro ended up selling it back
So
recently.
they sold the Death Row catalog off. I know that. I was really waiting for my G.I. Joe Transformers Death Row crossover. David, are you looking this up?
I am actually.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, find out who owns Power Rangers, because I'm pretty sure that Hasbro still owns. But you're right, Adam. It did. For like 5 years there, it went back and forth to so many different companies. And it was so fucked up is the entire time they were still releasing TV
Oh yeah,
and
it's still
toys.
going.
And they had a
Still chugging.
fucking movie
Yeah.
during that period where they got bought and sold like 3 different times.
Okay, I got an answer for you.
Yes.
All right.
All right, as of 2021, Power Rangers, the rights to Power Rangers is owned by Hasbro.
Oh wow.
Say
They've had it.
everybody.
They've had
Say
it since They've had it since 2018,
See?
and prior to that, it was owned by Saban Entertainment, the Walt Disney Company.
Yes.
From about 2010.
Walt Disney
Saban.
got rid of it because that movie sucked so bad.
And then from
I
2010
movie. I didn't think that movie was
2018,
bad.
it went back
hate
to
it. It
Saban
was-
Brands.
Yeah.
But that's the rights. That's like the television rights and the movie rights and the comic rights. Now the toy rights may still be with Bandai.
Yeah.
I'm looking that up right now.
Dude, the only reason I remember
All right.
that is because, yes, Hasbro, for a little while, because of that deal, owned the Death Row sound, like the whole record
Yep,
label.
they did. They did.
Yep,
Whack.
they
All right,
own
what
the toy rights too.
Yep. All right, what if?
What
What if, episode 2, this is what if T'Challa became Star-Lord. I think there's one word to describe what if, and it's fun. It's dumb, stupid.
Yeah.
It's just like the comics, you know? If you read the What If comics, you really couldn't take them seriously to any extent until after the comic, if Marvel decided to do something else with it. Because at some points in the comics, there were what if stories that did sort of drift into main continuity.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
that ain't
if
gonna
these
happen.
alternate universe things catch on, yeah, they might try to like pull the characters in like the Exiles or something like that. But yeah, this show is a lot of fun. I mean,
Yeah,
it does. It is one of those things where like I have a hard time believing that like Thanos would turn away from his genocide plan if one person
way,
was like,
dude.
"Hey,
Cha-Cha
what
got
if
the
you
magic
don't
mouth."
do that?"
Yeah. Cha-Cha is the
Evidently,
ultimate
But yeah.
diplomat.
the
basic
abduction of
premise of the
T'Challa
the show is like
turned out
well,
to be something really
but-
good for the universe.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a little genocidal, isn't it?
Yeah,
So yeah, they were making jokes about
but it's
Yeah.
random.
Yeah, but
Well, I
it's
mean, like, I guess the
random.
premise here is like, what if you took like bumbling but affable like Peter Quill and left him on Earth and replaced him with the most competent person on Earth?
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, some great choreography with the fighting in this. Some
And a
great
lot of the actors
characterizations.
reprise the roles.
Nebula looked great. Honestly, Emma Frost vibes for me here, man. It's like, man,
There, yes.
that is great. Yeah, it's just really cool. Look, Howard the Duck makes an appearance. Yeah, this was a great episode. But again, like with WandaVision, like with Loki, even with Falcon and Winter Soldier, with a lot of the different, socially relevant things they were bringing up, you could get deep. And you can't get deep into What If, because, I mean, it's dumb, it's stupid, and it's just a whole lot of dumb fun, man. But
that is a bit of
the
a two-edged sword, I guess, because, like,
Yeah.
I feel less invested in this show than I did in any of the others,
Adam
but
didn't even watch it.
it does make
Exactly,
it.
yeah.
Like, yeah, that is actually kind of telling.
Yeah.
But it is a hell of a lot of fun. These probably do have some of the best fight scenes, honestly, we've seen in any of these TV shows so far, because you can go crazy with animation, where you couldn't do that with live action.
Well, in the first episode, it seemed a little bit over the top, and they did it for
Oh, yeah, Peggy Carter was, like, smacking trucks across a block,
This felt a lot more like it would fit in an actual, like, Guardians of the Galaxy movie. The fighting seemed a little more down to earth. Dude, the Black Order was rad in this, man.
Honestly, they were cooler here than they were in any of the movies.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure. Black Dwarf kicking the shit out of Thanos was awesome, dude. Awesome. So, yeah, we'll watch another episode next week.
Which
Again,
one
there's
is
not
coming
much
up?
to say. It's just fun. Oh, I don't know. I should look that up. Why don't you look that up real quick? Well,
I actually am trying to be surprised, so I'm trying to, like, not look ahead on these.
Well, we're not going to do it. David's already searching.
Don't tell us, David.
Don't tell us, Dave. We're gonna
I
do
put the
food.
phone down, so I'm not.
Okay. Let's get into food news. I got a good one.
Yummy.
By good, I mean
Yummy.
there's a new Girl Scout cookies. Every year, children are forced into labor.
They are.
Simply to afford gathering together to have fun and learn. There is a new Girl Scout cookie this year, Adventurefuls.
Adventurefuls. Ooh.
Around the country, you can get these, and online. I suggest you buy them online. You can put down whatever troop you want to give money to, and I know this is like, oh, my family and friends asked me, to sell for their daughter. You know what? If you live in a good neighborhood, they're gonna be all right. You can actually go to like troops in like the inner city and things like that. Troops who ain't got a lot of money. And I think that's the best thing to do. So, yeah, go to the Girl Scout cookie website. You can do that. But it's a brownie-inspired cookie with caramel-filled cream and a hint of sea salt.
This is probably the best food news that you've presented in a very long time.
Thank you. And it's wholesome. It's wholesome. I put a wholesome spin on it.
It's always a crapshoot with these food news segments, whether they're going to be like an abomination of some sort or actually appetizing.
I like to keep
these
you
are
motherfuckers
actually
on your toes.
appetizing.
And these are very appealing.
I will have to buy a box.
Dude, like, what was it, the last week or the week before? There was a Captain Crunch boat. So you never know what you're going to get with food news. That's why I like that segment. It's awesome.
You are truly doing your finest work with these food news segments.
I really am. Dude, who was it? It might have been me and Jules were going to do like a thing where we rated food and coffee and stuff. I know Dave and I were going to do something where we imported. Like there was an Amazon box that we were going to get and try food. Was that you and me, Dave?
I don't recall something like that.
The only food-related thing I remember is our cheese casts.
Oh yeah,
that's when Red Shirt Steve brought all that stuff from Wisconsin.
What a delight that was! Honestly.
Actually, I still have the flyer, the little brochure.
That cheese.
I was about to say you still have some of that cheese. Like, dude, that's got to be like 7 years old at this point.
No, I still have like the little brochure from that place somewhere.
It's just fucking cheese, bro. Okay.
Yeah, but
I that shit anywhere.
Yeah, but you can get this specific cheese that was very delicious.
Yeah. So yeah, look for those. Go to the website, buy up some Girl Scout cookies. Awesome. There's no moment of destruction this week. There was no Transformers news. Although, man, I'm getting the Seekers. I'm getting the Earthrise Seeker 2 set with Thundercracker and Skywarp in there,
Mhm.
but I'm getting the MP movie Starscream. That was
Oh
just announced.
yeah, with the
Yeah,
crown and everything and the
I'm
throne.
pre-ordering as soon as
Oh,
the
hell
money's
yeah.
there. So yeah, look out for those. All right, I'm gonna start this week. Let's get in. Very excited about comics this week. But that means I'll probably be very disappointed. All right. Should I go first? I think I should just go first this week. I'm gonna try to keep it positive this week. Talking to you, Moon Knight. I actually had trouble with my list except for my number one. Nightwing honorable mentions. Nightwing number 38 was amazing. I mean, look at this page, 2-page spread. Just gorgeous, kinetic. I love everything that is happening in this book as Dick tries to make the world a better place, in the right way.
This is my number 3, and I'm sure you,
Oh, nice.
of all people, loved the part at the end where Dick did the thing that you always say Bruce should do. Just, hey, fuck being a billionaire. Let's just go out and give this money to the community. And honestly, it was a cool move, and it was a very heartfelt thing where it was tying in with Bruce is Alfred would be proud of you, and I'm proud of you, and all that stuff.
Perfect.
It was good.
A lot of stuff. Dude, Bruce came on there on the phone. I was like, I knew it, you pussy. You're not going to meet him face to face.
Oh, no, never.
Pussy. Anyway, another honorable mention for Guardians of the Galaxy number 17. Really, it's a fun book.
You just went through my 3 and my 2 already.
Oh my God.
This is my 2 as well. Yeah, this is going to be a really short segment here.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Well, this is a fun book. It's Al Ewing Wan for Gary. Actually, I want to mention that Nightwing is Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo. I would be, lapsed if I wouldn't say that. But Guardians of the Galaxy number 17, fun book. There's really cool stuff going on, but it's kind of in this sort of weird holding pattern outside of Doom being a badass. But maybe
it's doing all the
Doom being a badass
stuff.
Is enough.
It's doing all the exposition stuff for the people who haven't been following all this Guardians of the Galaxy stuff for me, basically.
Yeah.
And I've been enjoying it.
No, I'm enjoying it.
It's a lot of just crazy fun.
Yeah. Oh, and then they're like, oh man, Ego and Galactus, and now there's a Dormammu Galactus monster, and I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, this book keeps me hanging on no matter,
That was a cool stinger image for sure,
Oh, for sure. And there's also a lot of this drama going on with them not telling the Avengers and Brand, and I'm really enjoying that. Again, I'm sorry, my honorable mentions. Way of X number 5. Cy Spurrier, Bob Quinn is solid. It turns out that when a mutant dies, the space between their memories, from the moment they die to the moment of resurrection, that's where Onslaught is getting in.
Well, from the moment their consciousness is copied to the moment they died.
Yeah.
Onslaught is eating that, it seems.
Yes. Yeah. I thought that was a fun little twist, but man.
Yeah.
Fabian, Cortez, and Lost were fighting on Mars. Lost got souped up by Fabian, and the moon of Phobos started crashing because of Lost's weird mutant power. And then to stop it, Fabian souped up Nightcrawler, and he teleported the moon back. It was an epic moment.
Yeah.
That part was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. My problem with that book is it was trying way too hard to be real philosophical, real heavy.
It fails. It's failing at what it's trying to do, but it's still a cool
really
issue.
hard. Yeah.
That being said, it did better in this issue than it usually has done in the past.
Yeah, 100.
But
the philosophy shit. Yeah. With the philosophy shit.
Collectively, though, this was a bit underwhelming. I still enjoy it because I enjoy Nightcrawler. Legion was a lot of fun in this book. Right? It was, yeah. They're leading into some sort of Onslaught event coming up.
It's a one shot. It's not an event. It's a one shot.
Yeah, it's a one shot, and then the series I think is done.
Yeah.
Which is weird, man. We're getting kind of.
I'm okay with that though. This X stuff needs to slim down, especially if Hickman's
tie
not
a bow on
anymore.
that for sure.
Especially as good as X-Men is, as good as the Marauders is, as good as Excalibur is. You guys talk shit on Excalibur. I love Excalibur.
Honestly,
it's gotten a lot better.
I think it would be better if they got into the same model that Star Wars had back when Marvel was first publishing it, where you have a couple of mainstay books, but then you rotate the others.
Rotation would be awesome.
Yeah, we don't need to keep this Way of X book going any longer. I enjoyed it for what it was, but yeah, it's time for this to be over.
It's time to wind it down. Even if not be over, just let's not have.
Well,
I mean, you guys
that
are
Onslaught
right.
book will be an appropriate amount of time to devote to this issue.
Yeah, we
That
don't
plus
need
this.
this X-Men religion philosophy book. We don't need an X-Corp ongoing book. If
I'm
you wanna
glad you
go
said
with
that before I had to. But
If you want to touch on those, make it one book an anthology book, kind of like what Urban Legends is doing. Tell a part of a story, 3 parts of a story in every issue. I would be okay
I
with
think
that.
I like this miniseries route
World of
more
X
than
or
the
something,
anthology book route.
I don't know. Actually, man, we're talking so much about my honorable mentions. My actual number 3 is Bermuda number 2, oddly enough. John Layman, Nick Bradshaw, but a special shout out to Len O'Grady doing these colors, man.
I mean, even just on the cover, that was some impressive.
Oh, I know,
there.
dude.
Yeah.
It's just a beautifully written book. It's a cool story. It has this Peter Pan sort of feel to it, but the art is just top notch. All this fucking detail, dude. It's about like the Bermuda Triangle, but it's not really the Bermuda Triangle. It's a different dimension called Triangle, and it's this weird map of all this different fantasy and awesomeness going on. And there's a native person there who is named Bermuda, who's helping these new, arrivals. Just look at all kinds of busyness going on in the background.
That's very Hook.
They're really
Yeah,
filling
dude,
out the
yes.
page. When honestly, that's something you don't see a lot these days. Where like they are like making use of every inch of the page there.
Putting in the work. Yes, that's what it really feels like. And the book really succeeds because of that. Because, I mean, even on this page, there's not a lot of motion there, even though the lizard that she's riding is obviously in motion. But just there being so much stuff there, you can tell this is a jungle, and your subconscious just makes the jungle move. Just like this.
Yeah.
You can tell this looks like it's out of fucking Disney.
It looks like something out of like Hook.
Yeah, like you're at the fucking Ren Fair. And it's just busy and moving. And yeah, it's just a great book. And I don't mention indie books like this that often, but this one's got me, man. Every once in a while, there's one that just grabs me. And
This one slipped by me
Bermuda's
this
got
week.
Yeah.
I'll have
You need
to check
pick
out
it
the
up.
trade on this one.
Yeah, it's only a 4-issue miniseries. I don't know how they're going to get it done. And again, that's another reason I'm talking about it, because people should be picking this up so it gets a pickup. John Layman deserves an ongoing book like this, and if Nick Bradshaw can keep working, that would be just great. So, Adam, honorable mentions and the number 3 that I've already said.
So honorable mention. I'm only gonna have one this week. It's gonna be Flash 773.
And that's my honorable mention. Man, I can just clock
No
off early here
shit.
tonight.
Yeah,
Clock
man.
out, bro.
It is just a steadily good book. I really wanted to mention it this week because it's continuing a trend that started with Taylor's Superman book, where superheroes they're not using their superpowers to solve problems. They're using their empathy, to figure out why the villain is doing what they're doing.
Nice.
And then trying to actually fix the problem.
Nice.
Yeah, this book. You ever seen that episode of Justice League Unlimited where Flash, Mark Hamill is voicing? He's like the trapster or some crap, I forget. But like he meets him in the bar and he talks about like, "Hey, you need to get back on your meds, buddy." And that felt a lot. That moment felt a lot like a moment in this comic book, and it is a great illustration of why I have missed Wally West as a character. He does this, I think, more naturally than most any other Flash that I can think of.
That's cool. But yeah, what was your number 3?
But my number 3 was Nightwing number 83.
Oh my gosh, it's so rad.
Yeah, Taylor Redondo. And this is just exactly why I read comic books. The art and the storytelling, they're all working together, especially the artwork. And there's just some real dynamic 2-page spreads, action scenes.
Yeah, dynamic is a great word for it. It has like more energy than just about any other comic book on the shelves right now,
Definitely. And it has a lot of heartfelt moments. You got that Dick Barbara kiss in here. You got Dick finally doing what Batman should have done all along and
invest in the community.
Investing in the community actually instead of just beating it up.
Yeah.
This book was really satisfying for me because of course, it's Tom Taylor. I'm going to pick it up, but I was always on the fence because I'm just not really a Dick fan, and I'm off Batman. But man, this is the book that told me, yeah, this was a good pickup. This is the series that it's meant to be. It's fantastic.
Honestly, though, this book is a great showcase of Dick Grayson at his best.
Mm-hmm.
The strength he has that no other member of the Bat family has is his ability to form these connections with other people, and that was on full display in this issue.
Yep. Even while he's sort of second guessing his newfound, sister, he's like saying, "Oh, and she might not be completely evil."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's happened to him before. That's bit him in his ass before. But he still has this optimism to him.
Yeah, he is a very optimistic character, and that
Yeah.
does separate him a lot from, say, Bruce
Broody ass
Wayne.
Batman. Broody ass Batman.
But like, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed. Like, you can tell that the writing was really strong. When I enjoyed the conversations as much as I enjoyed like the helicopter flip there. I liked the way he talked with Superman. I liked him visiting the Teen Titans.
That was a great conversation.
Great moment.
I'm sure we'll see Nightwing pop up in Taylor's Superman book.
I wouldn't be at all surprised.
That'd be so great. So great. And then he's doing that medieval.
Oh, yeah. Well, Clark specifically told Dick to go check in on John. So I bet that was seeding that very moment.
Yeah. That's going to be so good. Man, Tom Taylor with the SJW, awesome. Everybody on YouTube is shitting on these books, hating what Tom Taylor's
go
doing
fuck yourselves.
No shit. This is the best fucking shit. Excellent choice. Dave.
All right.
3.
Honorable mentions. Serial number 6. A lot of progression in the story here. We had a murder, an arson, and a child grateful that a child abuser is dead.
Well, that's what's happening in this whole book. They're murdering child molesters.
They're murdering child molesters, but the only witness to the crime was the child.
Yeah.
The actual murder and arson was the child, and he confronted the murderer and thanked the murderer for protecting him.
What would you say your favorite Terry Moore book is?
Terry Moore, Echo.
Echo,
because
go with Echo. Motor Girl was awesome.
I was not fully invested in Strangers in Paradise.
Sure.
And with Echo, I got really invested in it, and I think I have like almost the entire run.
Oh, so. I do. I have the entire run. I also have the whole run of Motor Girl. Did you read Motor Girl?
I missed Motor Girl.
Oh, you should pick that up too. And Rachel Rising's fun too, even though I don't have that in issues. All right. Any more honorable mentions?
One other honorable mention. Eat the Rich #1.
I didn't like this. I'm sick of horror books, man.
It had like kind of a Get Out vibe to it.
Yeah.
Honestly, that sounds like a book they made specifically for you, Gomer.
But it's like a horror book. It does have those feels to it, that's socially relevant.
The rich are eating the help when they retire.
The rich are eating the help, and it did have sort of a Get Out feel to it.
Yeah, it had a sort of a Get Out feel because there was like a really weird scene where there's a nanny and the child on the beach, and the child picks up a human jaw. And there's no reaction whatsoever.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
To that.
But I'm just done with horror, man. Like Mark Russell, the stuff he's doing with satire, political and relevant, socially relevant stuff is so much better than the horror satire that it's just everywhere, dude. It's everywhere. And I understand when you're in like a politically tense situation and the way everything is nowadays with cancel culture, and you can't be funny this way and can't be funny this way. You can be. But everyone just is like horror is like the safe way to go, to talk about society and stuff like that. And it's fine. It's just everywhere. That's why I'm just, feeling what Mark Russell's doing with a lot of his shit. But
yeah, Mark Russell.
Was that your number 3?
No, that was my second honorable mention. Gosh, my number 3 is Noctera #6.
Solid.
Pretty much.
They find the first arc.
It did end the first arc. They find the safe haven. Apparently, the guy running safe haven is the guy that put Blacktop Bill on their trail.
Yeah,
and they essentially destroy paradise to get away. And we learn that the human shades can actually be communicated with.
Yeah.
Blacktop Bill ends up getting this thing called I think it's called the Hephaestus tongue.
Yeah, Hephaestus tongue.
But apparently he's going to be able to speak to the shades, and we're going from there. But they've got the book, they've got a map to find
the actual
paradise now. Yeah. So
we'll see what happens with that book. It's been solid. It's Scott Snyder.
Yep.
He knows how to write a comic, so good choice. And that leads to Taylor. I think we done mentioned all his books.
Yeah, I'm practically done here. So yeah, honorable mention was Flash. Number 3 was Nightwing. So yeah, let's just move on. I already said what I wanted to say about it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bring up Nightwing again. I cannot show this panel enough. This is my favorite page of the week. It was just amazing, so damn good. All right, number 2. My number 2, and the only reason this is my number 2 is because I was so surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Kang the Conqueror.
Oh, I hated this book.
Really?
Oh yeah, I hated this
I
book.
loved
I thought it was all right.
It
I
wasn't.
couldn't
It
believe
wasn't
how much
in,
fun I had with this.
It wasn't in the story itself. The story was fun. It was how it was told to me. I hate books where it's
The
just
inner-
a narrator
Oh, I
just
didn't mind
droning on, giving me exposition while there's just art that's kind of connected going on in the background.
No, I didn't mind that
I
at all.
I wanna experience a story. I don't want to be
Sure.
like dictated a story to.
That's fair.
Okay, so moving along the spectrum here, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I will say though that if this was their attempt to like introduce Kang the Conqueror to new readers,
Oh,
ahead
that's a
of,
bad
like,
move.
yeah, introducing him in the MCU more. This was not the way to go, because
Yeah,
if
this
you
is a
didn't
comic-
already know who Kang was, this was of no help whatsoever.
And again, that's another reason I think I liked it so much, because I was expecting something a little bit more, dulled down. But yeah, this is a comic book reader's Kang. I thought it was a cool examination of free will and fate in the context of this time traveling asshole.
Yeah, they definitely at least seeded that. It'd be interesting to see how much they
Yeah.
do with that moving forward. Yeah,
Great design work and panel work here.
That's
The art,
interesting art. Yeah.
yeah, the art was just really good. I love this. I mean, look at that dinosaur.
It
That
looks
was
nice.
awesome. It looked beautiful. And then the him slapping his younger self. There's a lot being said in this, and then young Kang.
but
murdering
I
old
don't see Kang. I don't see like adult Kang without his mask on very much. He looks pretty fucking derpy with just like the goatee and everything.
I don't know. I thought he was kind of handsome. I thought he was all right. He had the facial hair going.
He got
He just looks.
all right.
He looks.
The swirly mustache.
Well, I guess a better word is probably schlubby. He looks a bit like a schlub.
Yeah.
Looks like schlubby Tony Stark.
Well, he's
Yeah,
time traveling all the time. Who has time to shave? when you're
him.
time
He
traveling?
literally has all the time he could possibly want to do
Right.
that.
But yeah, I like this book. I can understand the problems you guys have with it, but the art really was amazing. The art was terrific. And again, I was really just surprised at how much I liked this book. Yeah, I'm on board. I want to see what happens next.
Oh, I'm off. I'm done.
I want to see what happens next, man.
I'll give it another issue, but
Oh, I'm definitely giving another issue. That art alone, man, it really, I thought, drove things for me. So, all right, go ahead. Number 2, Adam.
Guardians of the Galaxy number 17.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, this was just dumb fun.
I loved it. It was fun.
it was
Yeah,
dumb
this-
fun.
This was also a bunch of exposition thrown in there with Doom explaining.
It had some drama.
Yeah,
with
but
the
it also had
characters.
some drama. But yeah, it had a Dormammu Galactus at the end of it. So
It also had Doctor Doom making a Doombot meteor swarm.
yes,
that was
a
rad.
Doombot
Yeah.
army.
Yeah, with like this weird, like Willy Wonka-esque gizmo that he had, where something just arbitrary goes in one end, but out the other end comes awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
how
pretty
does that
much.
happen?
He's got the Calvinator.
Yeah, dude, can
Calvin
we
and
just
Hobbes.
say how fucking goofy Dormammu is? I mean, his face is just so
Oh.
fucking goofy.
He is
It just
definitely goofy.
It just is. He's not scary at all.
I mean-
he's got this silly shit-eating grin.
I mean, he's
It's-
always been basically a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah,
Like-
dude, it's so stupid.
Where's
But I'm
the
really
kebab
enjoying
crane?
That being
I'm
said,
really
though,
enjoying
this
him,
story has honestly been the best Dormammu story I've ever read, because normally he just like,
remember
Saying much, but
well,
yeah.
it isn't saying much at all, because normally when he shows up in like a Doctor Strange book, it's like, what, Dormammu? And he just like smacks him back to the Dark Dimension real quick.
Right.
But here he's like a cosmic level threat, more so than I've ever seen him be before.
Yeah, I do remember reading a Doctor Strange something where he was talking to people and he's like, oh, hold on a minute. And he like goes through a portal and comes back and he's like a little disheveled. He's like, oh, I just had to kick Dormammu's ass or something. It's like, man, you're just
Yeah.
doing that on your time
I mean,
off.
I'm sure
What
there's
the
been
fuck?
like giant anti-Dormammu epics from like back in the Silver Age or whatever, but I've
Not
never read
now.
those. So
Yeah. Excellent choice. A lot of fun books this week, man. Dave. Number
My
2.
my number
Take
two
a number 2.
is
Big
Radiant Black 7.
And this book needs to get over it, man. I don't know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're getting a team together. We got this badass that's basically doing like the first season of Battlestar Galactica.
It's the
Every
first
time they
season of
jump,
Battlestar Galactica.
every time they like the second episode. Every time they jump, he's following them right behind them.
Yeah.
He's on them. They're jumping across the world. They're jumping across space. They end up in an intergalactic battle.
It's Gen X Power Rangers. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of over it. The art's great, but man, I'm just kind of over it.
Is this one of those needs to shit or get off the pot type
It
of books?
feels that way, dude.
Yeah.
Like things do progress, but it feels like they just
Well, ever since
progress exactly where you knew they were going to be by the end. But then it's filled up with all these character moments about characters who you haven't really been given enough time to care about. You know?
Well, ever since the other guy got the power, it's kind of been
power.
the stepping
Yeah.
up. It's pacing.
Well, it
a
certainly
lot.
ramped up the action, and that was a holy shit jaw-dropping moment where the lead character literally dies.
Yeah, the
and
first
his-
Radiant Black dies, and
his
then we get
scumbag
Radiant
best
Black
friend
too.
takes over. Yeah, but it's not a bad choice. I don't know. You didn't read enough Marvel this week, buddy. Taylor, number 2.
I read Kang.
My number 2 is also Guardians. So yeah, moving on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Taylor and mine's lists are exactly the same. We read the
Yes.
exact same
I
stuff.
think they are
From
exactly the
number
same.
1 to honorable mention, Adam and I had the exact same list this week.
All right, you're getting to number 1. I think it's unanimous unless Dave is
probably.
the outlier. It's the Trial of Magneto. Number
Okay,
Hell yeah.
that's my book too.
1.
Well,
Everybody's
I'll
number
be
1.
damned. All right, we do have a unanimous.
I knew it. I said it. Dude.
Where's
this
the air
book-
horns? Where's the air horns? Where's the confetti?
Leia Williams, Lucas Wernick. The only thing I really have in my notes is this is a perfect comic book. It pulls from the new status quo to elements that built up since. This was an X-Men fan's X-Men comic, and I'm an X-Men fan. Just loads of great character moments that were derived from all around X-Men and Marvel history. I mean, this is the only image you would need to see. Everything about this book is as badass as this picture right here. As this
Yep.
panel
No,
right
I don't
It
think
works
I
as
will.
a sequel to X Factor, but it also stands on its own.
Yep.
It does a good job of introducing you to all the teams that you need to know about, even X-Force.
And not
the
really. They
Avengers.
just kind of shit talk X-Force.
Yeah, they do.
They do,
X-Force
they
was
do.
X-Force
This
is
is
a
really
working
an X
security.
Factor.
Yeah, we did have a lot of jurisdiction dick measuring going on.
I love
in this
that. I really dug that. Again, it really felt like it was an X-Men reader's X-Men book. You know,
That's true. And we did also have a lot of really gorgeous 2-page spreads during that autopsy too, with like
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Wanda
think I
like
had
positioned
that
at
one.
like there's one where she was positioned like upside down at the top of the pages, and one where she's like at the bottom. So like cool kind of like symmetry
Yeah.
to that.
I don't have that one. I do have a lot of great pages. I got this great fight. This brings everybody back. Wolverine's kicking Magneto's ass, of course. Love it. The Polaris moment, which again it's got history to it, but it's also recent.
Ton of history. Yep.
There was a lot of emotional weight in this fight because you have all of Magneto's children showing up to not only attack him but also like air their emotional baggage with him. Like Quicksilver shows up.
Even
That was
Quicksilver
probably-
showed up.
Oh,
that's
I got
probably-
Yeah.
That
I
was
got that
probably
page.
my favorite part of the whole comic was Quicksilver. Like, I always knew it was going to be you, Magneto. I
Yeah.
always knew you were going to be the one to kill her.
I mean,
I-
as soon
I-
as this happened, right? This same panel, right? Like this panel transition, this sequential art here. Dude, they do that all the time for Quicksilver. I mean, it's almost like, one of his own marks.
Yeah.
Like if you just see Snicked in the corner, you know what's about to happen. Even if he's not on the page. When this happens, when people just start getting punched by air, yeah, Pietro is showing the
Yeah.
fuck up. I know this
It's
is
interesting to think about, too, where, like, it seems like in a lot of ways Quicksilver got the short end of the stick with, like, the family superpower pool here. But sometimes
Oh,
there's
Really, though.
There's no arguing
so.
with someone who can punch you faster than you can think,
Yeah, I
even
don't
if you
think
are
so.
like a godlike being like the other
Yeah.
two
And then-
are.
And then we have the big stinger at the end. Wanda is dead, but is she really dead?
I like this panel that
Well,
you
yeah,
got right
I
here
love,
with the
yeah,
mask, the
Yeah, the
Brotherhood of
reunion
Evil
of the
Mutants.
original Brotherhood.
Oh,
Here,
it
yeah.
was
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
touching as hell,
Yeah.
dude. Them all toasting together. Oh, I loved this one. This is like almost a new meets old generation. Like the whole Summers, Wolverine, Logan family is here, except Sync. I guess he's part of the family now. But I mean, it's amazing to me, dude. It's so good. There was that moment with North Star and fucking Pietro hugging it out right after this.
Yep.
Right after this page. But then, is Wanda dead? Is she not? So this leads me to believe that this entire event, this entire miniseries, is just a way to make Scarlet Witch a mutant again.
Probably.
I'm okay
I
with
wouldn't
that.
be at all surprised.
I'm okay
So
with that. yeah.
Honestly,
The
making her a
whole
Quicksilver
Inhuman thing was a mistake.
It was.
It
I
was.
It
mean,
seems like she's
retrospect.
it seems like she's narrating from limbo.
There's no telling where she is.
I mean,
dude. You're right.
I'm on the record saying that they will inevitably reset that status quo where Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are Magneto's biological children again.
Yes.
Maybe that's this. Maybe that's what we're seeing.
I'm loving this. I'm loving how, I mean, I don't want to look too deep into it, but it feels like, just the initial confrontation about questioning another mutant about the murder of Scarlet Witch erupted in just this fucking amazing fight, classic X-Men sort of fight,
Well, it's not just questioning a mutant. They're trying to question Magneto, who...
I know. Well, sure. But then there's this other angle where Magneto goes out and they're like, I don't give a shit if she is dead. Not really, but are they really going to mourn her? And he's going out there, the Pretender's dead. They're loving it that Scarlet Witch is dead.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of potential for this series to really dig into the cracks in Krakoa while also spotlighting all of this great new status quo and also how that new status quo is nothing but throwback with just a little bit
Well,
of
yeah,
tweaks.
it is a very much,
perfect.
Magneto calling out the Quiet Council in this
Yeah.
issue on their decision to not resurrect Scarlet Witch,
Yeah.
being like, hey, you have the power to do this, but you're choosing not to.
Yeah, Kitty had a good point about that too, about how there's no reason for us not to do this except to be kind of cruel here, honestly. But
Exactly. There's no law. And that's the thing about Magneto. Hey, they're coming. Hey, we'd like to take you in for questioning. And he's like, fuck you. He's not wrong. He's above that. He said it before. We are your gods now. All right. He just should not have to answer to anybody. If they can come up with some proof about, he is the murderer or whatever, then it's up to them to do what they need to do to put him in the ground the same way they did for Sabretooth. And they're not going to be able to do it. They showed right here that they can barely do it. It took, a half a dozen to a dozen different fucking mutants to take his ass down?
Really, just Quicksilver at the end, honestly. But
Well, yeah, that's true. Fuck Quicksilver, man. I love that asshole, but man, he is such an asshole. But yeah, perfect comic book. I
will say the one thing I might criticize though is that it gets a little verbose at times.
It does.
They throw in a lot of $10 words in here, and it sounds like, I don't know, a little pretentious, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't.
It felt all right to me. The people who were saying that stuff, and there were some parts at the beginning, like the first half almost, where it's just an X Factor book. That felt like it was straight out of a TV police procedural. It did. The way they were talking back and forth, how it was like a tat 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 almost with the dialogue in some places. It was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I did like the parallel conversations they were having at the autopsy and at the crime scene. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh my God, it was like Law and Order. And the way they were sort of playing X-Force off of X Factor and then the Quiet Council as a third part, it almost did feel like there were different people within different organizations, I guess, within this Krakoan Justice Department.
Well, we're seeing all of these organizations actually work with each other or against each other, actually butt up against each other.
And it's great because it's such a huge deal because Magneto is such an important character for Krakoa. And Scarlet Witch is such an important character.
Yeah, roll back to that Empire tie-in issue where Exodus was telling the folk story of the great mutant hero Magneto, and now,
and he told a story about the Pretender, the Scarlet Witch, where the
she's
little
the
kids are
boogeyman
covering their ears.
Krakoa.
She's the boogeyman. So of course they're gonna. It's impossible for me if I was a citizen of Krakoa to not be like, oh, well, of course, Magneto, our hero, our general, who does all these amazing things, who we all emulate. Of course, him murdering Scarlet Witch is a great thing. But he didn't do it. We know he didn't do it because there wouldn't be a book if it was that, cut and dry.
there's no way they would
Yeah.
like tease the hell out of being Magneto for it to actually be Magneto.
Exactly,
But,
exactly. Which makes me want to read this even more. So, yeah, it's a great book. I can't wait for this series. A beautiful start to a book. Again, what do we start off this podcast talking about? I don't wanna read-
Climax.
That's true. We did talk about. I don't want to read X-Men if Hickman's not involved. I think this shows that the X-Men can still be
Yeah,
amazingly
but this is
fun
still
to read.
this is still operating within Hickman's framework from
Well,
before.
that's not going away. You know, even with
Is
Hickman,
it? We
no,
don't
that's
know.
not going away. That's what he said in that interview. He said no, they're going to keep going with this.
Yeah, he also said
But
he was
once
going to
he's
be
gone-
doing it for 3 years, and he
No,
would
he
get to
has
the end,
done
but
it
he
for
didn't
3
do that.
years.
But
His
once
plan,
he's gone, I mean, all bets are off.
his plan was
Yeah.
to get to where, all right, you know, when he finished Secret Wars, everything was back to normal when he was done. That was his plan with X-Men. 3
Mhm.
years, everything when he's done, it would be back to normal. Marvel said no, and the creators who were helping him said no. We're happy right where we are with your phase 1, and we're going to
Of
continue
course
this
they
story
are.
as long as we can go because our dumbasses are eating it up.
Not
if it wasn't
anymore.
selling as well, no, I'm still going to read all the X-Men.
I mean, I'm not
you
gonna
are,
like.
'cause
I'm not
you're-
gonna just like drop all the books the
I'm not gonna
second
drop
And
all
listen
of
to
them,
you guys.
done,
You guys are
but-
talking shit on at least a third of the X books. While
Well, okay,
Hickman is
let's
still
be honest
there.
though. Half the X
All
books
right.
this week suck.
I mean, you guys are. You're right. They did.
Okay,
Marauders
so-
was just middle of the road too.
Suffice to say, I think that I'm still excited for a lot of these books individually. A lot, like especially like Gary Dugan's X-Men book, they're still pretty good. But I have a lot more reason to be worried about the future than I did last week. You know?
Right. You're worried about the connectivity between the books, and that should be a fear, you know, because again, their showrunner, we don't know even how much of an influence he had overall, considering his original plan completely got away from him because the people who were supposedly working for him decided to do what they wanted to do without him. I think he was just cashing checks, and that's fine. He was still writing pretty damn good books, but it would be my opinion that if we were to take, and we can frame this 2 different ways. We can look at Hickman's X-Men run, not any runs on any X books, just his X-Men run. It's middle of the road. And if I'm talking just Hickman books, X-Men is the worst shit Hickman has ever written at Marvel.
I wouldn't go that far.
Powers of 10 and House of X was amazing.
I thought it
But
was
his
good, but
X-Men run-
unfocused.
His X-Men run was unfocused. It was not great.
Every
It was all
issue
world
was
building.
all
Yeah.
bets were off, like in each new issue. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just
Yeah, dude.
whatever the
Yeah.
fuck I feel like doing this week. You know,
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that, but
and it was good.
wasn't
What was actually
FF.
written, but
it certainly wasn't his fucking Avengers run.
we are more used to his Fantastic Four and Avengers run, where like everything was like scoped out and sequenced and like driving the narrative.
Like
you
when
know?
something happened in issue 10, and it was like, oh, you know, and he doesn't get back to it till issue 25, and it means so much more. That's what I was expecting from him with his X-Men.
Well, I think that's the
And now
difference
that's
between his
totally
X-Men and
washed
those
away.
runs was in Avengers he only had the 2 books to drive his narrative. He couldn't just spend one whole book doing nothing but doing world building.
Oh, that's true. That's
With
true.
X-Men, you know, he can just spend his one book doing world building because he had these 10 other books driving the narrative for him.
Yeah,
The
you're
problem
not
is
wrong.
though is that the narrative ended up driving him because
Dude, that's the best way to put it. The narrative drove his creative, landscape. Because he obviously had a huge fucking plan here. And what my biggest fear of this whole thing is, I think the X books will still be good. I think they're going to stick in, with this status quo that's been going on. But I think we've lost Hickman's X-Men. We've just got the first part. We got like the first course.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And that was
that's
my
what I
big
was paying
takeaway
for.
from the
Yes.
news. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's
because
just,
I'll be honest, I'm
that
a
really
Hickman
sucks.
fan more than I am an X-Men fan.
I'm an X-Men fan, but I am a Hickman fan. You know what he should do next? Fuck Substack, Transformers. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Come back, keep hanging out. Go to outrightgeekery.com where we got all kinds of different shit going on there. There's also audio versions of this now that we started doing. Thanks, Leroy, for turning me on to some tech that I could do that for free. Check him out, and Eli, who was in the chat earlier over at the Comic Book Bullies. They stream right here on our Facebook page. We got a lot of other streams going on all week. We got our regular Monday night preview show, which we'll be doing tomorrow night. Might get a Jules, to show up. Maybe not. But we got Big Willie doing shit all throughout the week, all kinds of fun stuff. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. But most of all, thanks to these jokers for hanging out with this joker.
Always a pleasure.
We're going to do it again next time.
Same geek time, same geek channel.
Why, man?